Okay, so welcome back. I'm Jackie from Wacky Jackies, and we're doing the 8th video, which is block I, pinwheel, but it's quite a large block, this one. So this is the block here. We've got to do those 4 pinwheels because ultimately we need to make that in the middle. So one block is like that. And then that's block 2, block 3 and block 4. So when we put them all together, we get that lovely black pinwheel in the middle. It's quite effective. So I've cut all of the squares into 5-inch squares. I've cut the 10-inch squares into 4 5-inch squares. And basically I've put a little pile of things that I need here just to make up 1/4 of that pinwheel. And we're doing the half square triangles again. So I'll just do up, as I said, I'm just going to do one block and then we'll come back after we've done the other blocks and I'll show you how it all goes together. So that's one. I'm just going to cut a little bit off here because I just had to, that's fine. Okay, that's one. And then we've got another one of those. So it said here on making block I pinwheel, we need 2 grey 10-inch square, which I've gone for those. 1 black, that's the black, and the 2 light red, which is a lovely pink. So I've cut those into 5-inch squares, and then I'm just going to check these squares because they look bigger than 5-inch, and they are because I actually had some more fabric cut, so they're a little bit bigger. So we're going to put this put the white line on the back of the pink. Right sides together. And then we need, so it says cut, using the instructions for half square triangles, which we've gone over a million times, do 4 grey and black half square triangles and 12 grey and light red. So to make up this one, I've done 2, and then I'll do a grey and black. I'll just check that this is a 5-inch square again, which I don't think it is. No. Just cut it down. So grey and black, I'll put the line on the back of this one. Arrow in the corner, line down the middle is right across the corner of the other one. So right sides together. So this is the grey, this is the black one that will make the centre of that large pinwheel block. So we're going to sew all those together down the lines. You sew on the white lines, not corner to corner, because you can sew corner to corner, but that's on a different, that's for 8, yeah, can't remember what it's called. But anyway, yeah, you don't sew on from corner to corner, you sew either side of the corner so that you can cut down the middle and get half square triangles. So yes, okay, I was thinking the There is a thing called a quarter square triangle, which is differently made once again, but we're not going to be going over those on this particular tutorial, but we can go over it on another one. And if you've got any ideas as you're going along learning to quilt with Wacky Jackies, and you would like a particular thing, like a video made up, just get in contact with me, or send me an email at jackie@wackyjackies.com.au, and we can, if at all possible, which more than likely it will be, we can do that block for you. Just as a request, we can show you how to do stuff, because we're always looking for ideas, and as I've said, we're mainly focusing on beginners, because I believe we need to get more beginners in the trade, because we've got a lot of us oldies, and you can eventually, we just need people to take over from us. So what I'm going to need is 3 of the pink and grey, 1, 2, 3, and 1 of those to make up one small block, one of the 4 blocks, like that. So I'm going to just take 3 of those in one of those, and I will take them to the ironing board. Actually, what I'm going to do first, just so we get an idea, I want to have a look at how the actual seams go, so it will sew together nicely, if you get my drift. So I'm looking at we'll put it this way first, and we'll get it right, because they're a little confusing, these pinwheels, I can tell you. Okay, so now I've laid out the pinwheel. As I said, they're a little confusing, so look at your photo on the actual pattern. And what we want to do is, I'm going to turn the whole thing over. So that's like that, and that's like that. So what you want is, you want all of these rows, the seam all to go the same way. So if you look at that, that's all going to sew in well together if you've got them ironed all the same way. So what we'll do is I've just kind of finger pressed them, so it's obvious when you get to the board. Bring them over one by one, and then just iron them nicely, and then put it back in the spot where it belongs. So that belongs here, and then that one there. So you're looking at the back of it, but you can see that it's a pinwheel, right? So what we need to do is actually trim them back, so to the 4.5 inch squares. So just one at a time, pull them back, and pull them out, and trim them back. As I said, this is a little bit fiddly, but you want to get it right. Otherwise, it's not going to look, well, it's not going to go together properly, and it's not going to look very nice. Okay, that's one. There was virtually nothing to trim off that. After watching all these videos, you'll be experts at half square triangles. Yes, yes, and yes. Right, so that's your pinwheel. And we're going to sew it all together, first line to first line. And because this is, you've got the seams, so you just need to match up the seams. I am going to not bother about pinning them, but once again, match up the pin seams with the pin. There's a bit of bulk in there, so just slowly push it through. Okay, that's one. And then you want to take this one. Just matching up the seams. that's that one. So this is not a perfect match. I might just unpick that last bit. Don't be afraid of unpicking. To be honest, I think you're better off to unpick and get a better finish. And then you don't have to worry about, you know, you can look at it and be proud of it. But this one here, because there was a bit of bulk in it, it's kind of skew-iffed it. Get a nice finish there. All right. It was because I had a lot of bulk there to sew over at the start of the line, it kind of pushed it out. All right, so that's your pinwheel there, and we want to put 1 to 1. So I just want to get the back seams so they go the opposite way. So I'm going to put this one to the left, the bottom one to the left, right, like that, and then we're going to add those two together, and the two. Make sure those two centre seams lock together. Slowly, slowly over that bulk. Righto. And I'm just going to iron this, and that looks pretty good. Iron this nicely on the back. Turn it over and iron it nicely on the front. And then as you can see, that is that one. Straight over the top. That black is a little bit darker than this, but you still will stand out. So I'll make up the other 3 and come back and we'll sew them all together. So now we've got the 4 pinwheel blocks together, and I want to put them all together to make that one large block in the middle there. So we will put this line together, and then we'll put them together. But we'll need to do a bit of pinning first and a bit of ironing. Once we've put it together, we'll iron the blocks flat because it's only the middle seam here that I haven't ironed. So we're going to pin these together, making sure that we get the lovely corners and not, you know, that they match, which is the most important thing. We want to make sure that we've got those pinwheels matching too. So just have a look at that they're going to match up. All right, I'm going to sew this. Slowly, slowly take the pin out. Going to make sure that seam is flat, the underneath is lying flat and this one's lying flat. Take the pin out. Okay. Let's have a look. Yep, they're nice corners, nice points. Then we're going to put this one together. Once again, checking that you've got good points and good corners. Right. Want those two going together well so that they're nice and they're matching up well. And those two going together. So that's that one. And then what we want is that we'll turn it over. We want this seam going opposite to that seam, so there's not lots of bulk. So I'm going to iron the bottom line to the left. The centre seam that we've just sewn, I want to iron those, and then I'm going to iron all these out nice and okay. Iron it nicely on the top. So that's the bottom one. And then this one I want it to go to the right. So that there's not all that bulk. You don't want all that bulk in there. At the same time, we need to look, are all of these, because they're all going to be put together, are going the right way. So this one I actually sewed. That was the first one I sewed, and I sewed it differently, but that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to iron that over there, and I'm going to iron that over there. I'm going to iron this one back so that we've got all the seams going the same way. Sorry, that was a bit confusing, but it's a good learning curve. Because if you've got the bulk, it's very hard to sew over, extremely hard to sew over and get a straight stitch. And two, when you take it to your quilter to get quilted, or if you try and quilt it yourself, you're going to really struggle with, sorry, that's the wrong way. You're going to really struggle with actually sewing over the top of such a bulky area. So this one here, I'm going to iron this seam that way. So then they're opposite. That's that way, that was so. Okay, so we'll iron that one over there. Get some nice heat into it. Right, so as you can see, they're all opposites. That's opposite there, and that's opposite there. And we're going to add these two, we're going to sew these together now. So we'll get the corners happening properly, put a pin in there, in the seams to make sure that they're matching up. Nope, that's not, so we need to change it over, get it over a little bit closer. It's so worth doing this. That's perfect. This one here. Yep, and that one. Yep. Okay, and we're going to sew it down, sew all these together, and then this block is finished. Slowly over all that bulk. This one here, I should have pinned that, but I didn't. And all right. Yeah, that's okay. Then we're going to iron all this nice and flat. So as you can see, it's nice and neat on the back. And yeah, my opinion is you should be as proud of the back as you are of the front. Okay, so there's that beautiful big pinwheel block. So that is the conclusion of block 8, video 8 I should say, block I pinwheel. So we'll put the next video will be putting the whole quilt together. See you then.